Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl PizzaYeti here with another episode of PizzaYeti Chats. So this week, I don't know if the desk setup has given any hints to what we're talking about, but we're going to be chatting about the Nintendo Switch, and specifically The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So I have had the Switch and this game basically since launch weekend, and I have finished Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild once so far. And I was really impressed with the game. I've played a lot of the console Zelda games, and I've really enjoyed it. They were what made me fall in love with video games. Well, Zelda and Pokemon did that. I've played through quite a few of the recent Zelda games. Wind Waker is probably my favorite still. I never finished Skyward Sword because I didn't like the motion controls. I like being able to sit down in front of the TV and just having one controller that allows me to do everything. I don't really like having to aim with the Wiimotes. I'm just not a huge fan of it. So when Breath of the Wild was announced and it didn't have motion controls involved, I was really excited for it. I was ready to play a system that felt like this is how it's supposed to be played. And I was really excited to see what it would feel like to play Zelda in an open world concept game. And I gotta admit, I think it works really well for the franchise. There were things that I missed. I missed having the dedicated dungeons. While I liked the idea of the divine beasts and the main boss at the end of them, all of the bosses were basically the same, and there were only 4 dungeons. And I know that the shrines exist, and there's 120 of those, which I found before I went and fought Ganon at the end of the game. I felt like the game could have used some more dedicated dungeons, similar to what were in the original Zelda games. And it would be cool if they added them in a later patch, or in an expansion pack like they're doing with some of the stuff for this summer and then in the holiday season. But yeah, so I think that the dungeons would just add some more challenging gameplay. And don't get me wrong, on start off, this game is incredibly challenging. The learning curve is real steep at the beginning. It's interesting trying to figure out what's best for your playstyle, whether that's a two-handed weapon or a one-handed weapon. I personally prefer the one-handed weapons. I really enjoy being able to use my shield without having to put my weapon away. I think that's really nice. Now I kind of want to get into the story a little bit for this game. Now, I love Zelda games because of the stories that they have behind them. I enjoyed Wind Waker in that it gave Link another reason to go out on this adventure apart from Zelda being in danger. Thought it was really cool that it was about, at the start, about his little sister and saving her from who we find out is Ganondorf. This is the first game in any Legend of Zelda game that I've played that I actually cared about Zelda. I felt like they really took the opportunity to give her her own character, and it was really cool seeing her grow in the memories that you have to collect throughout the game, if you should choose to do so, since it's not required to collect all of the memories. I will say that I recommend it. It adds a lot to the game experience. But this was the first time where I was just like, I actually care about saving her. I'm not just doing this because that's how I beat the game. I wanted Zelda to be safe at the end of this one. I thought that she really grew into herself and into who she wanted to be as a person, and I thought that was really cool. I will say the thing that disappointed me the most about this game was the ending. I feel like they were really strong throughout the whole game, and if you go through and just play through the main quests and the missions, I feel like that story was driven well, and I think that they did a really good job on that. I don't think that they did a good job at the final battle. After having a game that was as difficult to get into as Breath of the Wild was, I expected to have a lot of trouble at the end fighting Ganon. And when I got to the first phase, it just felt like it was a recycle of all of the Divine Beast bosses. And that was pretty disappointing. And when I beat Ganon, we all just kind of looked at each other and we were just like, that's it? And it was really, really disappointing. Like, I didn't turn the game back on for a couple days because I was just like, that's the end of the game. And like, you don't, from what I have seen, there's not really a difference in the ending if you've collected all of the memories or not. And I thought that was kind of weird, that the game ends as ambiguous as it does when... Yeah, I don't want to spoil the ending of the game if you so far managed to not do that. But at the end, with some of the questions that are asked, I felt like if you collected all of the memories, you should get to reap the benefits of that and not just, oh, now I know how all of this happened and what the people were like that everyone talks about. No, you don't get any of that. You just get an open-ended question at the end of the game. And I was kind of hoping that they would answer some of those questions in the expansion pack that they're going to be releasing in the holiday season. But after the announcement at E3, it looks like the DLC is actually going to be like a prequel story, which, don't get me wrong, is really cool. I'm excited to get to know the champions more. But at the same time, I was looking forward to maybe some post-Ganon activity with Zelda and like rebuilding Hyrule. And seeing how the Guardians react now that Ganon is gone, since he was the one controlling them. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen, which makes sense because if Nintendo wants to create a sequel to Breath of the Wild, you'd want some of those questions to be unanswered. But at the same time, the ending of the game was really underwhelming for a game that I was so impressed with. And the amount of hours that I put into this game, it didn't feel, based on the ending, justified that I had spent all this time working to get the shrines, the weapons, the Korok seeds that I did. I'm nowhere near the final total, which is why I'm still playing through the game so that I can get all 900 seeds, even though the reward for 900 seeds isn't, honestly, it's not worth it, if we're going to be honest about it. From what I've seen on the internet, the prize that you get from getting all 900 Korok seeds, I don't think that it's worth the time that you would put into it. I'm excited to see the expansion pass with the Korok mask that they're adding in, because I think that that'll help a lot of people, including myself, to not have to go on the internet and cheat to see where all of the Koroks are hidden. So I'm excited for that. And so, for this game, which is, to be honest, the reason why I invested in the Switch so early in its development, my rating for Breath of the Wild would probably be like a 9.5 out of 10, and the 0.5 is getting taken off because of the ending of the game. I loved the entire game. I was really happy with the way that they revealed all of the information the way that they did, but the ending really was underwhelming in comparison to the rest of the game. And so I'd love to hear what you think about the Switch if you have one, and if you don't, I'd love to hear why you haven't maybe picked it up yet. If you have other thoughts about Breath of the Wild, go ahead and hit me up down in the comments. I'd love to hear what you have to say about it. And I will catch you guys probably next week. I've got a pretty big trip coming with my family, and I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited to get some videos out. It'll be my first time to the part of the States that we're going to, and I'm really excited to be able to share that with you guys. So I'll catch you later. PizzaYeti out.